So, yes, this is our official welcome. We're so happy that everybody could come and that so many of you are here tonight. We've got an awesome group, and I just can't wait to share all of these wonderful things with you. So, just very briefly, for those who don't know, I'm Karen Dion. I'm the USA Today and #1 internationally best-selling authors of two novels of psychological suspense that are set in Michigan's Upper Peninsula wilderness. The Wicked Sister and The Marsh King's Daughter. They're published by G.P. Putnam's Sons in the U.S. and in dozens of other languages around the world. The Marsh King's Daughter was named one of the best books of 2017 by iBooks and many other booksellers and reviewers. It won the Barry and the Crimson Scribe Awards. And last year, right around this time, it was released in theaters as a major motion picture starring Daisy Ridley and Ben Mendelsohn. So that will forever, I think, be my big claim to fame, is that my book was made into a movie. Doesn't happen very often, and that's why my fellow authors are clapping for me. Thank you. So again, thank you all for coming. Tonight's authors are awesome, and I'm so excited to have all of these authors with us. I'm going to do this alphabetically with the introductions. So I'll start with Diana Chambers. After studying Asian art history at university, Diana worked at a Paris translation agency. She began an importing business in South Asia and became an experienced scriptwriter. It sounds so interesting. Yes, there's her new novel, The Secret War of Julia Child. It's illuminating historical fiction inspired by the famed chef's secret espionage service in the China-Burma-India theater of World War II. I'm sorry, until I heard about this book, did I have any idea that she would be part of that? No, I thought she was just Julia Child the cook. So it's going to be really fun to talk to you about that, Diana, in the breakout room. And we're so glad you could come tonight. We also have two authors writing together, which is why our screen is juggling around a little bit tonight. We have Alex Segura and Rob Hart. And they're here together tonight because they joined forces and wrote a novel called Dark Space, which is a sweeping sci-fi spy thriller that blends the epic scope and character-driven spark of Star Trek with the intrigue of John le Carré Smiley's novels. So isn't that cool? Yeah. And so I'm going to do their intros separately because they're not really the same person or joined at the hip. We'll start with Alex. Alex is the best-selling and award-winning author of Secret Identity, which the New York Times called wittily original and named an editor's choice. NPR described the novel as masterful, and it received starred reviews from Publishers Weekly, Kirkus, and Booklist. It was also listed as Best Mysteries of the Year by all kinds of other newspapers and was nominated for the Anthony, the Lefty, the Barry, Macavity Awards, and it won the LA Times Book Prize in the mystery thriller category. So pretty darn impressive, if I do say so. And Rob Hart is the author of the USA Today bestseller Assassins Anonymous, as well as The Paradox Hotel, which was a finalist for the Lambda Literary Award and was named one of the best books of 2022 by NPR. And I noticed, I don't think I mentioned it, but Rob's book was also named one of the best books by NPR. So yeah, that's pretty cool that you both had the same recognition. The Warehouse is another novel which has sold in more than 20 languages around the world. Rob is also the author of the Ash McKenna crime series, the short story collection Takeout, the novella Scot Free with James Patterson, and the comic book Blood Oath with Alex Segura. So nice list of accomplishments there. And we'll learn more about Dark Space when we talk to the authors in the breakout room. Paula Munier, hello, Paula. She's a well-known backroom attendee. She was one of our moderators here for many, many years. And now we're going to highlight her because her new novel, The Nightwoods, just came out October 8th. So congrats on that. And it's what, the 6th novel in your series?
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's fantastic. So for those who aren't familiar with Paula, she's the USA Today bestselling author of the Mercy Carr Mysteries. Her 6th book publishes October 8th. She lives in New England with her family and Bear, the Newfoundland Retriever Rescue, Bliss, the Great Pyrenees Australian Cattle Dog Rescue, a pandemic puppy named Blondie, I can't say this. A Malinois?
Yeah.
Okay. Rescue, much like Elvis in her books, and Ursula the cat, a rescue Torby Tabby who does not think too much of the dogs. I don't imagine she would. So thanks for being with us tonight, Paula.
Oh, my pleasure.
Yeah. And lastly, David Rosenfelt. He's a former motion picture executive who has written 43 novels, okay, including 29 featuring Andy Carpenter, a Paterson, New Jersey attorney. David's passion is in dog rescue. He and his wife have rescued more than 4,000 dogs through their Terra Foundation. Any one time, their house is filled with between 10 and 30 large dogs, as well as two exhausted humans. And David, we were asking you, what's the current number?
Only 11,
Only 11.
a historic low.
Wow. Okay. So David says you might hear barking in the background. That's okay because he writes all about dogs, right? Okay, so those are our wonderful authors tonight. And to help you get to know them a little bit better, we're going to play a quick game of not quite 20 questions. And what we have is we have backroom cards. They're very official with the questions on the one side. And I'm going to ask the authors questions in the order that I see you on the screen. Alex, you're up first.
I'm ready.
So your question is, what book, you're prepping, what book
Getting in the
made you
zone.
want to be a writer?
What book made me want to be a writer?
Yeah.
It was probably a Classics Illustrated version of the Sherlock Holmes mystery, The Hound of the Baskervilles. I read it when I was really young. I loved having those little pocket Classic Illustrated books because it had spot illustrations. I was a comics reader, but I liked it because I figured out the mystery before I got to the end, and it made me appreciate the art, just the art of a mystery. And so I've been a firm believer in the idea of unearned mystery since then. Like, don't leave enough clues that the reader can figure it out, but also leave enough so that they appreciate it if they don't.
Ah, very nice. You must have been one smart little kid if you could figure it out.
I didn't cheat, I swear.
Okay, yeah. David, your question. This is a hard one. Are you a morning person or a night person?
It's involuntarily a morning person. Our dogs wake us up at 4:45 every morning. You could set your clock by it.
And
So
what's the morning routine like, briefly?
we come downstairs because we have to, and we spend the next hour and a half watching them zonked out on the floor. They fall right back to sleep, and we're sitting there like two idiots while these massive dogs are asleep. So I'm a morning person because of that. And unfortunately, during football season, I'm also a night person. So it's the math doesn't add up for me at this time.
Yeah. And it looks dark where you are. Where are you calling in from?
From the house, I just don't put any lights
I mean,
on.
what state?
Oh, in Maine.
Yeah, yeah, that explains it. It gets dark early on the East Coast. Yeah. All right, Diana. Here's an interesting question. I don't know, based on your bio, this could be a challenge to ask. What's the most adventurous thing you've ever done?
Okay. Well, I was being prepared to answer about the book, but it
That'll
has to
come
do
later.
with, yeah, but it has to do with the travels I've done in my life, how much I'm connected to Asia, which is part of the book's background. And so I think I'll say going over the Karakoram mountain range on the first day it was open after the snows and being dropped on the Chinese side by our driver because he did not want to risk the Land Rover that his commune owned. So we had to scurry across this avalanche with carrying rugs in our arms as we got to the Pakistani side.
Okay. That's
Okay.
that's very adventurous, no doubt about it. How cool is that? All right. You can never tell by looking at a person what they can do. Um, Rob, I'm going to ask you this. What's something you can't do?
Oh wow. I can't sing. Can't sing worth a damn.
I wish I had a capacity for language. I love different languages and I love trying to learn other languages on Duolingo, and then it just immediately goes out of my head as soon as I'm done. So I wish I had better retention for that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
I'm with you on that, and I don't have an ear for language. I have good pitch for music, but when I say something in a foreign language, people don't understand me. And
Oh,
and
yeah.
I guess, yeah, I don't
I took
know.
French in high school and I tried to speak French when I was in Paris, and just the looks of pity I would get from the Parisians. Like they were so nice to me because they were like, "Oh, he's adorable. He's trying."
Yeah, that could be a ploy, actually, if you want to be well received.
Yeah.
Okay, Paula, your question. What's the best thing about being a writer?
Oh, wow. Well, that's quite a question. I
It's
think
a
the
big
best
one.
thing about being a writer is that you just can be a child forever, and you get to it's an excuse to read more books. It's an excuse to make up imaginary people doing imaginary things. It's like playing Barbies for real. When I was a kid, we played Barbies and we had Ken and Barbie and Midge, and it's kind of the same thing. Barbie only when I was a kid, Barbie got married. And now that I'm a mystery writer, Barbie would either die or find the murderer.
Yeah, very good. Okay, thank you all. You were just great with the questions. We appreciate that, and it's given us a lot of things to think about and ask you when we're in the breakout rooms. Now, we'd like you to do your book recommendations for us. Just briefly, tell us a little bit about a book that you read recently, long time ago, it doesn't matter, one that just knocked your socks off. And again, we'll start with you, Alex.
Sounds good. I don't have a hard copy because I read this digitally, but it's Julia Armfield's Our Wives Under the Sea, and it's a pretty short 200 so page novella novel. It's a horror story, but it's really an exploration of couplehood, I guess, of partnering with someone for a long time. It's about this queer couple, and one of the women is a deep sea scientist, and she goes on this deep sea expedition and is lost, believed to be lost, and then she returns, and she's returned changed.
That's for sure. David, what book are you recommending tonight?
Book that's 50 years, it just had its 50th anniversary. It's called The Power Broker. I don't have the book because I read it on a Kindle. Um, it's a story of Robert Moses, who is the most powerful person in the history of New York State or New York City, more than governors, mayors. It's mind-boggling what a career he has. But the book is 1,250 pages.
Oh,
And the reason I read it is because I saw a movie, which I'll also recommend, called Turn Every Page. It's a documentary about the relationship between Robert Caro, who went on to write the LBJ books, and Robert Gottlieb, who was a famous editor.
Diana, what book are you recommending tonight?
It is a novel of food and murder by Asako Yuzuki, translated by Polly Barton. I would add to that subtitle that this novel is about food, murder, and the patriarchy. The cult Japanese bestseller about a female gourmet cook slash serial killer and the journalist's intent on cracking her case is inspired by a true story.
Thank you. It sounds awesome. Okay. And Rob, your book recommendation, please.
Yes. The Man Who Saw Seconds by Alexander Baltazar. This is one of the most bonkers books I've ever read. I started it one night and read like the first three chapters and ended up clearing my schedule the next day so I can finish it. And it's about this guy who can see 5 seconds ahead in the future. And he does something kind of stupid and then is finds himself like on the run from the cops and then from the government, and then it turns into the escalation is just nonstop.
Sounds like one I'll have to check out. Thank you. Paula, your book recommendation, please.
Well, mine is Playground, the new Richard Powers book. This one is all about the ocean. He writes these sort of beautifully written, lyrical, cautionary tales, and it's just beautiful. He's a beautiful writer.
Wasn't that fun? We hope you enjoyed this taste of what a backroom event is like. The best part comes immediately after, when the audience is divided into 4 breakout rooms and the authors visit each room in turn. We'd love to show you what a breakout session is like because these relaxed face-to-face conversations between authors and readers are the hallmark of our backroom events. But breakout sessions are never recorded. What's said in the backroom stays in the backroom.